Hello there and welcome back to the channel. We've got some brand new golf balls from TaylorMade to do a little bit of a review of today for you. So we've got the brand new TP5 and TP5X. Loads of you will have used these balls over the years. They've been out since, I think it's 2017, the first TP5 and TP5X balls came to retail. There's been different modifications throughout the years. And this year we're seeing what TaylorMade call the fastest tour ball that they've ever made. So we'll look at the two different models, see how they compare, but first let's have a little chat about the technology. So the headline story for this new version of TP5 and TP5X is the new speed wrap core. So they've changed the core in the golf ball to make it faster, but also work really well with the other layers. So some of the technologies that have been brought out over the years with TP5 and TP5X, such as the Tour Flight dimple pattern and also the speed layering system. So these balls have 5 layers inside the golf ball to really maximize different areas of the game. So some areas make the driver spin a little bit less, others will make your wedge shots into green spin a little bit more. So hopefully throughout this video, as I hit them and give you my feedback as to the shots I'm going to hit, I'll tell you kind of what I'm feeling and what I think about the golf balls, as well as at the end, we're going to take a bit of a look at the data that we get on the Trackman and compare the two. So what are the differences? Well, TP5 and TP5X are aimed at very different types of golfer. So we'll start with TP5, okay? This is probably going to suit the vast majority of you out there looking for a tour level golf ball. It's going to feel a little bit softer, sound a little bit softer, but more importantly, those kind of short shots that you're hitting around the greens and also pitch shots should spin a little bit more with this golf ball. When we go to TP5X, we can see it's a slightly different colour, the core. The technologies work slightly different as well. So we should see in TP5X a slightly lower peak height on driver and long game shots, and maybe a little bit less spin when it comes to those short shots around the greens and pitching. So what I'm going to do right now is hit some shots on the Trackman. I'm going to hit some 50-yard pitch shots with a 54-degree wedge. I'm going to hit some full shots with a 7-iron and full shots with a driver as well. Give you a bit of feedback as I'm hitting them, and then we'll have a look at the data at the end. So as I said, we're going to start with a 54-degree wedge. We're just going to hit some of those kind of short shots and see if we can see any difference in the spin when we're using these balls, but I'll also give you a bit of feedback as to what I'm feeling. Now, I've chosen the PIX version because it's not a golf ball that I've really used very much before. But yeah, let's give it a hit. So I'm starting with TP5. So we'll see how that goes. Does feel very, very soft off the face. And certainly those of you that watch the channel know that we've done quite a lot of golf ball reviews lately. So I've kind of got a bit more attuned to the feel of different golf balls over the last few weeks. So let's just hit a couple more. Yeah, certainly much softer than I was expecting it to feel, to be honest. And you can kind of hear a bit of a duller sound as we're hitting it. Let's just try a few more. I mean, straight away, looking at the numbers we're getting spin-wise, they look pretty good. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the kind of launch height and the feel, they kind of look pretty normal in terms of the flight, but also the feel, like I say, is very, very soft. Now, let's see if there's a big contrast between TP5X. So obviously looks exactly the same with that PIX pattern on it. The only difference is that the number is red on this, obviously, as opposed to black in TP5. So let's have a little hit. Definitely sounds a bit clickier and a bit louder when you hit it. Certainly feels firmer off the face because of that as well. Yeah, you can definitely hear that click as opposed to the sort of duller sound of the TP5 when we're hitting it. In terms of the flight we're getting, looks pretty similar, but I wouldn't expect too much of a difference really on a shorter shot like this. I think we'll probably see some bigger differences when we get to hitting 7-iron and driver. But yeah, certainly from initial hits with a wedge, they feel quite similar and look quite similar, but you can definitely hear that difference in the sound with TP5X. Right, so now we're moving on to 7-iron. We're gonna hit some fuller shots with both of these golf balls, again, with TP5 to start with. So let's hit a few here and see the difference. Again, feels nice and soft off the face. Really nice high flight that we're getting as well, which is what we would expect. Yeah, it feels good. Like I say, it feels just like a lot of the tour golf balls that we get to use and get to test. Really nice and soft. Like I say, the flight initially looks quite nice and high as well. Feels very good. Yeah, it feels very similar to kind of Pro V1 and also the Chrome Tour balls that we've looked at recently as well with the Callaway. Let's now have a look at TP5X and see if there's a big difference there. Remember, when we were hitting the wedges, this was much louder and clickier than the TP5. Let's see if it's the same with this. Yeah, definitely a little bit louder again, but don't mind it. It felt actually really good off the face, that one. You can see already that the flight is ever so slightly different. Yeah, I actually prefer the feel of this now I'm hitting longer shots, to be honest. Yes, it does feel firmer, feels a little bit clickier, but that's kind of more what I'm used to in the golf balls that I've used sort of over the years, really. Let's just hit one more. Yeah, again, feels absolutely great off the face. Be interesting to see if there's any difference in the flights and the spins, but let's move on and hit some drivers. So now we're going to hit driver. So we should start to see a little difference in the sort of spins and launches that we're getting with these, and maybe have a bit of a difference when we actually see them on the Trackman as well. But we'll start with TP5 again. Give it a bit of a hit. Again, feels very good off the face. Doesn't feel particularly soft when I'm hitting with driver. It's certainly not like it did when we were hitting the 7-iron and the wedge. Feels really nice, to be honest, off the face. Very, very good. It's a bit more like it, I think. Yeah, it feels really, really good. Kind of what I like to feel off the face with driver as well. So it certainly looks to be coming off quite nice and quick as well. Let's see what that TP5X is like. Yeah, certainly sounds a little bit different. A bit firmer off the face. Again, feels like it's coming off quite nice and quick. Really, really like the feel of that. So I'm going to now hit another 10, 20 balls with each of these and each of the clubs, and then we'll have a little bit of a look at the data. So let's have a look now at what we found with the TP5 and TP5X golf balls. When we look into the 7-iron TP5, we're getting a little bit more spin, 6,250 RPM, 175 carry, 181 total, and we can see ball speed 123 miles an hour. Now, when we compare that to TP5X, we can see a bit of a difference. So we're gaining a bit of ball speed there. We've got a little bit less spin, and because of that, we're carrying it a little bit further, okay? So 181 carry, 188 total, which again is kind of what I would expect with a good strike with a 7-iron. And we can see height-wise, the TP5X is actually going higher than the TP5, which is not what it's supposed to do. But like I say, everyone's going to be different when they test these, which is why you should go and get fitted for these golf balls properly if you're looking at switching into a TP5 or TP5X golf ball this season. Now, when we look at the driver, we can see a little bit more of a difference, and kind of the way that we should be seeing it, in that the X is spinning slightly less at 2,450 RPM. And the TP5 at 2,593, so pretty much 2,600 RPM. Now we can see in terms of the ball speed, that TP5X ball comes off a little faster. Certainly from the testing I've done there, it's nearly 2 miles an hour quicker off the face, which is pretty good. And we're seeing distance-wise, so carry of 301 yards versus 293. So quite a difference there, really. Obviously, the higher spin and lower ball speed is contributing to that, and we can see in terms of the height, again, TP5X is going higher for me than TP5, which is not what it's supposed to do. But we can see the same speed is going in on average, and you know, most of the kind of delivery position is pretty similar. The loft is ever so slightly different, about half a degree more on TP5X, which is maybe why it's going that little bit higher. But we can see in terms of the shots that I've hit there, I'm getting a little bit more speed, a little bit more carry, and a slightly lower spin with TP5X, and also a slightly higher ball flight. But that kind of 118 feet, 120 feet is kind of where I'd expect to hit a driver, really, with certainly the golf balls I've used in the past. But in terms of distance, I'd say that's very good. Anything over 300 yards carry in the air for me is very good, and certainly a golf ball I would definitely use. And the only thing for me was, is it going to spin enough with the short clubs? And certainly looking at the tests that I've done here, yeah, it does. But it's something that you've really got to try yourselves. Go out and get properly fitted, test this golf ball. If you use TP5 or TP5X already, it's worth just checking and having a bit of a look at the new model to see whether it could benefit you in any way. As usual, if you've got questions, drop them in the comment section below. Be more than happy to answer anything about golf ball fitting or any golf balls that you use at the moment. You'll have seen on the channel we've been doing lots of golf ball testing, particularly the models that are just launching. So the new Titleist golf balls, the new Callaway Chrome Soft, Chrome Tour and Chrome X, and also the new Wilson golf ball range, which we've done reviews of that you can check out on the channel as well. And obviously, if you've got questions about any of those too, please fire away. But yeah, make sure you go get fitted, make sure you try these golf balls out, and hopefully you'll enjoy them just as much as I have. See you soon.